Hello, and welcome to Friday STEAM with the Warren County Library System. My name is Sandy Roberts, and I am the Makerspace Coordinator for the Warren County Library. Each week, I bring you a fun presentation that encapsulates science, technology, engineering, art, and math, which is what we call STEAM. So sometimes we are a little more sciencey, as we have been the last couple of weeks, and sometimes we're a little more tech as we are going to be this week. But each week we try to give you some fun ideas for things that you can do with science and technology and engineering at home, with your family, and with your friends. So each week at 3 p.m., I'll be here. Today we are talking about coding. What is coding? And the reason that we're talking about this is because it is Computer Science Education Week. Each year, the first week in December, or the second week in December, we celebrate computer science. And I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of a camera issue today. So hopefully that will iron itself out. I'm not sure what's happening. But each year we celebrate computer science and all the different ways that it impacts our lives. So I thought that it would be a good idea to talk about it a little bit for Friday STEAM, because computers really are pretty entrenched in our lives, more so now with COVID-19, so many of us working or going to school virtually. So what is code? I mean, you hear computer programming, you hear coding. Why is it important? Well, the truth is, everything from your smartphone to your car to your microwave oven and sometimes your regular oven in your refrigerator all have small controllers, have small computers on board to help them function better, to make them easier to use, to make them more efficient, to make them something that you can connect to in many different ways. So these days, I'm sorry, I don't know. I think one of my connections is just bad. So we can't really get away from this kind of technology. It's everywhere, from apps to games to home electronics. Obviously, a lot of us are using our computers these days, and every piece of software on our computer was coded by someone. In fact, usually coded by many someones, so that it can do what it needs to do. The internet itself is running on computers. When we talk about servers, or we talk about the internet, there really are giant computers, rooms full of them, that are holding all that information, doing all that work. And all of that has been coded. So there's a big reason that we try to really encourage folks to learn about coding and to understand how this kind of computer technology works. And today, of course, those boundaries of coding and computers are growing as we see more and more artificial intelligence being used. Do you have an Alexa or Google Play in your house? You may. That's a form of artificial intelligence, AI, that we use, and that's becoming much more commonplace. We are hearing of autonomous cars that can drive themselves. Again, really pushing the boundaries. It wasn't all that long ago that computers were all vacuum tubes and cards that you had to punch out. Now, my smartphone is more powerful than my first computer, and that was only 25 years ago. So we're going to talk a little bit about what coding is, why it's important, and ways that you can get started with coding. And I do want to just go ahead and mention that I am hosting an event tomorrow that is called our virtual hackathon. And basically it's an opportunity for those that are beginners to come and learn about computers and graphic arts and coding, and those that are experts to come and show off your skills and learn more. So we've got a whole day of speakers. We've got challenges planned. You can earn prizes. Let me just show you that graphic real quick. Yeah, so this is our, resize. So this is tomorrow, Saturday, December 12th. All day long from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got all kinds of great challenges planned. So I hope that you will be able to join us for this event. And I hope that today we'll kind of take some of the, maybe the uncertainty out of participating. So let's hope that that works. I'm sorry, I'm just switching around my camera here so that hopefully, I think I just have a bad port on my old computer. We're going to switch back. And okay, I have frozen. 1 second, my friends. Speaking of technology, right? Sorry. Yeah, it's just not. I'm going to pause you for 1 second here while I fix this. Give me a moment. I am literally moving about the room to fix this poor camera. These are the days, right? Every teacher out there knows exactly how I'm feeling right now. Okay, that should do it. We should have a functional computer now. And won't that be nice? And I'm going to switch on back and hope that we are working correctly. Nope, of course not. Okay. And one last try. There we go. Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. I had it all set up and then it started doing that weird thing. Okay, so let's talk coding. All right. So there are a lot of different ways that we can get started with coding. And these days, we're trying to start kids as early as we can. So what you see here, this is a site called Scratch. This was developed by people at MIT. It was designed for kids, but not just for kids. And what's really great about it is that Scratch is actually a drag and drop language. So it's very easy to use. It's a little bit like putting pieces of a puzzle together. So I have my sprite, which is the character that I want to use. I can put them on a stage with whatever backdrop I want. I'm just going to go for blue sky here. And I can make it do all kinds of things. So when I start my program, I can tell my, my little cat here to move 10 steps, and I'm going to actually tell it to just do that forever. So very, very simple program. And here we go. My cat walks off the screen. Scratch is great because it's a pretty easy language to learn, but it's actually really powerful. It has lots of add-ons. It can control different microcontrollers, or rather you can control it with microcontrollers. And it's very robust, but easy to learn. And what's great too is that they have all kinds of tutorials that will give you the help you need so you can jump right in and get started. So Scratch is a great place to start, whatever your age is. I still enjoy coding with Scratch. And it's great if you want to make animation and games, things like that. But nowadays, it's expanding every day, it seems, with what it's able to do. Another great drag and drop language is MakeCode. Now, MakeCode is based on the idea of physical computing. And Scratch is getting into this too. The idea that you have devices that you can connect to the real world and control your computer, input with your computer. And what's really fun with something like a makey, anything that's conductive will connect to the computer. So Play-Doh, bananas, people you can use to interact with the computer and then code in Scratch. Another great device is the BBC Microbit. This is a tiny little rectangular board, has a couple of inputs and outputs. It has LEDs right on it, a couple of buttons, and you can make all kinds of games, robotics, and other things by coding in MakeCode, which is again a drag and drop language. And what's fun is that you don't even have to have the microbit at home. It has a virtual version of the microbit that will actually, you can see what it would do. And then if you did have a microbit, and it's inexpensive to buy one, they're like $10 or $15, you download your code to it and it will continue to do that. So this is great for an introduction to robotics, for example. So let's see, I'm just going to give it a real basic bit of code here. So I'm just giving it some LEDs that it will do, and then we're going to have it, wait, I'm in the wrong spot, input, where am I? I need my weight. I have to remember where it is. I should probably put my glasses on. Here we are, a little pause, and then if we, so we can make it look like the heart is beating on our microbit. So MakeCode takes a drag and drop puzzle-based style language and adds that physical computing. Now you can take what you've created, your program, and actually put it onto an actual little controller and make it do stuff. And this can be, it can do sound, it can do light, like I said, it can control robotics. So it's a really versatile little machine. But MakeCode can do more than that. You can use MakeCode to control Minecraft, control other boards, control small robots, control Mindstorms, and this is probably my favorite, to make arcade games. Gaming is a ton of fun, retro gaming is even more fun, and something like MakeCode makes it really easy for you to design your own icons, design your own characters, design your own avatars, and include them in the game and play all kinds of different fun games. So I'm going to go ahead. So here's the little cherry picker game, and you have to eat all the tacos. So it makes it really easy to design a game and to make your own sprites, to make your own backgrounds, and everything like that. So MakeCode is another great option if you're looking to get started with programming, especially if you're into games or robotics. It's a great way to go. I've got a lot of tabs open here. I'm just going to close a couple. Okay, now, oops, I know what I want to show you. Sorry. Now, this has a drag and drop language, but as you can see, if you click on JavaScript, when you're ready to move from a drag and drop visual-based language to a typewritten language, which might, especially depending on your age, that might be what you think of with coding, is that it's all going to be typewritten and click, click, click. Well, when you're ready to make that shift, MakeCode is a really great way to go, because with a button click, you can take the code that you're familiar with, that you already understand how it works, and see what it looks like as a typewritten language in JavaScript, which is a really, really popular language. Once you want to learn even more about JavaScript, I highly recommend, donations. On Khan Academy, they have several great introductions to JavaScript. One on drawing and animation. It's important to remember that coding isn't just for like mathy, techie, geeky people. Coding is used for, all forms of animation. Games, movies, all of those things use computer animation, drawing, and graphic arts. So learning coding, or at least understanding how coding works, can give you an avenue to those kinds of jobs. So if you want to work on the next big Disney production, understanding this technology is certainly something that will help you. Now, when you're ready for the next steps, you might be interested in things like, maybe you've heard of the Raspberry Pi. This is kind of like a little mini computer in a credit card size. You can do just about anything with a Raspberry Pi. You can connect it to all kinds of things. People make webcams, they make robots. There are all kinds of different projects that you can make. And what's great about a lot of these things is that they're pretty open source. People share how they do it. They share their projects. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can remix and recreate what others have done. So from there, you may have heard of things like Arduino, very popular for robotics. Give me a second. I'll show you kind of what that looks like. Here we go. So actually, first Python here. Are we gonna do this? Python? Sorry, my Windows. Okay, so this is Python, a very popular, actually it's MicroPython, but it's a really fun language that is a great introductory language if you're looking to get started with a more robust computer language that can work on all kinds of different devices. So again, you can code games in it. Python is used extensively for for applications, for the internet. Python is a really popular language. It is the language that Google relies on. So it's certainly a language to learn. But you can see now we're not using drag and drop stuff, but you can copy and paste, okay, and you can edit. This is a really simple Python program that I use on a device that has like little push buttons, and basically the buttons change color and they play Christmas songs. Really simple, just to practice and to learn how to do it. So that's one popular language, and then another popular item is, as I mentioned, Arduino, and this is actually code for some of my Christmas lights. So if you've ever seen Stranger Things, where the Christmas lights flash and spell out a message, I my husband and I designed Christmas lights that would do that for the makerspace. So some of you may have seen that, but it spells out like read a book. So these kinds of things really bring computing into kind of your world. It doesn't have to stay on a screen, and that's a big part of what makes it exciting. Now, you might be saying to yourself, all right, this is a lot, Sandy. I don't even know where to get started. I understand. There are so many resources out there. And when I mention computer languages, it's important to think of it very much like we do our languages, where you might speak Spanish and you could pick up a bit of Italian. Or, computer languages are a little bit like that, okay? But each has its own derivation, each has its own kind of codex and format that it uses, but many languages are based on something called C++. And so things like Python and Ruby and JavaScript and Java are all based on that language. So when you learn one, others seem very familiar, and you just have to learn what we call syntax to kind of adapt. But it can still be hard to know where to get started. So I always recommend code.org. This site has so many resources for teachers and for learners, and it's all 100% free. So you can come in here and say, where am I? Grade level? Do I want to just try an hour of code? You may have done this at school. Parents, you may have heard of your kids doing this at school. An hour of code is really fun because you can pick something that's just fun and silly and kind of more of a game. It will lead you through. It'll do a tutorial with you and teach you how coding works. So code.org is kind of a great place to start. It's a repository for a ton of free information to get you started. And it even has like specific projects that you can do at home to get started. Everything from making your own app to making a game to playing music, anything that you can imagine, there will be some kind of a tutorial to get you started on code.org. And you can pick what kind of language you want to learn. So if you're starting out and you want something like Scratch that's a drag and drop visual language, great. If you want to challenge yourself with Python or Arduino or C++ or JavaScript, they've got resources for that too. So that's kind of the best place to go, in my personal opinion. So that's a very brief overview of what's available for coding. But I want to take a second before I say goodbye for the day to point out that coding isn't really the point. I want you to consider coding just another skill, another tool in your toolbox. When you were little, you had to learn to walk. Why did you learn to walk? You didn't learn to walk just to walk, right? You learned to walk to get from place to place. And once you got good at walking, you started running and then jumping and then climbing. And who knows, maybe you're doing parkour now. I don't know. But you've come a long way from walking. Walking was never the goal, but it opened up the opportunity. It gave you the opportunity to explore, to be part of your world in a really amazing way. Same thing with language. We didn't learn to speak just because we want to hear ourselves, though that's fun. We learned to speak so that we could talk to others, so that we could share ideas, so that we could communicate and be part of our society, be part of our families, be part of our communities, our schools, our churches, etc. Speech has a purpose, right? Music, dance, art, all of these things are ways for us to take the ideas in our head and share them with other people and express what we're thinking, what we're imagining, what we're feeling. Coding is just another tool of expression. So don't be scared. Anyone can code. You really can. Just like the first day that you stood up on your little 2 feet many, many years ago. You might start out kind of wobbly. You may do something really simple like a couple of steps. But before you know it, you're going to be coding robots and making games and making animated Christmas cards for family members. It's really fun, and I want you to remember it's not about, can I debug my program? Can I write 1,000 lines of code? It's about what am I trying to express? What do I want to share with the world? And how can I use coding, electronics, computers, microcontrollers, robotics to express those ideas and bring them into reality? So I hope that you kind of enjoyed that very quick, very basic roundup of what coding is about. I will have a lot more information available tomorrow for the hackathon. You can actually check out our YouTube video because I've got some videos on Scratch and other topics like that. Again, a reminder, that is tomorrow from 10 to 4, Saturday, December 12th. If you go to our website at warrenlib.org, you can register. We're going to have a variety of panels that are going to be really, really great. And we have a whole website actually devoted to this that I'm going to show you right now. As soon as I get it here. Because this is kind of the easiest way, I think, to learn. If you want to start out with any kind of computer science, is getting friends to start with you, getting family to start with you. So this website you will get if you register for our hackathon. And we have talks all day. We have an education panel, careers in STEM, a fantastic, fantastic keynote speaker, a young hacker from our area who is interested in getting other kids hacking to protect our privacy and our elections. We have a technology and business panel. And, you know, we've got all kinds of challenges. Yes, you can win prizes for completing challenges. You will be entered into a raffle for some really great prizes. It's going to be a really fun event, and you can do it from home. It's totally free. Anyone can participate. Anyone can try it out. So I hope that you will join us tomorrow for that event. All right. I think you've probably listened to me ramble on enough. Thank you so much for stopping by for Friday STEAM today. I will be back next week with Friday STEAM, and we'll be talking about the solstice because it is winter solstice time. The longest night of the year is coming, and that final transition into winter. But from here, the days get longer, and we know that spring's right around the corner. There's a lot of interesting science and astronomy. We'll talk a little bit about what kind of constellations that you can see in the sky and some really interesting astronomical events that will be coming up in addition to the solstice. So we've got a lot of exciting science to talk about next week. A little more science this next week, a little more techie this week. And then, of course, I'll be back in the new year with lots more fun, more experiments for you to try at home, more ways for you to learn. All right, my name is Sandy Roberts. I'm the Makerspace Coordinator for the Warren County Library. I hope to see you again soon. See you tomorrow. Stay safe, stay healthy.